Good morning, friends. Welcome to goonlinetrainings.com. We're going to have the next class that is on Power BI visualizations. So, you have a 200 plus visualizations in Power View. And the next question is that when should I use which visualization, right? So, these topics are pretty much easy. I have given you these two videos yesterday, grouping and binning and sorting and bookmarks and selection pan. Watch these videos and write the notes. And I have uploaded them in the portal. Just check. And today we'll talk about Power BI visualization. So when you open your Power BI, when we open our Power BI, let me just close this and get some data. So Adventure Works is the sample data given by Microsoft, right? It is not original data, sample data given by Microsoft. Customers table, products table, sales table. So let me load the data into the Power BI. All the data will be loaded where? Into the RAM of my computer. So that is what you need to know. Power BI is not a data storing tool. It is a data reporting tool. But why Power BI is storing the data? Because at least some data it has to store so that the client need not have data warehouses and this one, that one. At least some data you should be able to carry. That is the reason. So some data up to 10 GB of data it can store. Now I have some uh, visualizations here. The step number one, always you need to go and check data modeling part. People who do not know data modeling, we'll discuss later. Or if you watch SQL Server videos, in that we have relationships concept, one to one to many, many to one. So that is what is called data modeling. The same thing will be implemented automatically here. I did not do anything. Automatically, Power BI is going to be creating a relationship. You need to click on this first and check everything is properly linked or not, right? The second one, you can see the data. When you click on the customer, when you click on this, you will be able to see all the data. You have a product stable data you can watch, and sales stable data you can watch. You can also see number of rows, right? So everything you can see it here. The last one, I wanted to create a lot of reports. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 into 6, approximately 36 visualizations you have it here. Okay, you have 36 visualizations, but always I will tell that there are some 200 visualizations, 200 plus visualization. Okay, so remaining visualizations are hidden behind this dot, dot, dot. Okay, all these are available online. You will be able to use them whenever you wanted to have. People also will ask you, have you used any other visualization apart from these 36 visualizations? But normally, you take any sample dashboard or the reports, we never use not even 36. Approximately, we use 10 to 15 visualization. Entire world is using only that much, not more than this. They will have this only few of them is heavily used. But even though we had 200 visualizations, we never use everything. So maximum dashboards, you go to Google and you look for the Power BI samples or Power BI sample dashboard, Power BI sample reports. You will be able to see only couple of things, up to 10 to 15 visualizations only we are going to be using heavily throughout the world, in all the across all projects. Okay, so you need not worry that I should learn everything, but if you know what is what, that is good. So we'll discuss about one by one. And first one, you have to know when should I use what. Okay, if I am planning to use something, and what are the formatting options, and what is the purpose of this visualization, everything you have to discuss. Let me drag and drop card visualization first. And I wanted to take the sales amount, right? So I wanted to go here and click on general and go to effects. Now this is the total sales data. Now control C and control V. Now let me go and delete this and drag and drop profit, right? So control C and control V, copy and pasting. Let me just go and delete this and have the tax amount so that everything is properly will get ready. Now I wanted to, have how the year-wise growth. When you go to the data of your sales, you have a order date or the due date or the ship date, how the orders were placed year by year. So I wanted to see the time data analysis. If you wanted to see time data analysis, this is the one you must use, right? So this is what is called a line chart. Let me drag and drop. I wanted to perform something on time data. So time means I'm talking about year number, quarter number, month number, day number. So all these things, date and time data, right? I wanted to see, let me go to order date. I wanted to have a year wise sales. Drag and drop the year, and there is a sales amount, right? Where is the sales amount? Sales amount is here. Drag and drop it. Now you go and apply the borders and everything. Again, click on this. Now I should be able to go to data labels and click on. Now it is clearly telling you from 2005 to 2006 it is increased at least double. 3.3 it is 6.5 double. It is a doubled. Now 6.5 million to 9.8, it is 50% again got increased. Now 9.8 to 9.8, it is stagnated, right? Within 1 second you can understand how the sales was happening, right? So this data nobody can understand whether the sales is stagnated or increasing trend, decreasing trend, you don't know, right? So to understand that to time data, so which visualization we're going to be using? This visualization. So whenever you drag and drop anything, you have to know what is the purpose of this visualization, or what is the purpose of this visualization, or what is the purpose of this visualization. For example, I wanted to know region-wise sales. Let me drag and drop this chart. So pie chart. Okay. I wanted to drag and drop pie chart, and I wanted to have category wise sales, or I wanted to have region wise sales, right? So let me go and drag and drop a sales amount. So when you drag and drop a dimensional data, you don't get any visual. But as soon as you drag and drop the fact data, you will have the visual effect. Clearly, it can show you. Now you can increase, you can decrease whatever you wanted to do. You can do a lot of things here. And this is what is called a legend. I wanted to have the south, east, west, north on top of this, but not separately. This I don't need separately. This is what is called a legend. Clear? When you go to properties, if you wanted to do some settings, here, definitely you have to go to formatting. Click on this, go to formatting. So you can see there is a legend. Legend means this. This is what is called a legend. The legend is on. You have to make it off so that it will go. So how to go about it? You have to click on this first. Now click on this formatting options. Okay. So click on this. If you're here, first click on this, click on here. So legend off. Off means it is gone. So I wanted to display the names of the regions. So how to do? Go to data labels. Now there is a label content. What is that you would like to show? I would like to have the category. Category means the name of the region. Okay. The name of the region and the data. Data I don't need. I need the percentages, or I need data value percentage of totals, something like this. But I don't need the category name. But I need everything. Everything means name, then value, then okay. You can just maximize this. You can understand it clearly. right? So you should be able to have a north this million, and this is the percentages 2.94. Like that, you should be able to understand which region is doing good. South region is doing good with 37.57 percentage of sales. Okay. And 36%, 23%. Now tell me, if you wanted to get the data and do all this calculation, means you need to write your own queries in SQL, right? We are not writing nothing here. Simply drag and drop automatically. All of the calculations are automatic and it is done by the Power BI, right? So I can see the data like this. Now I wanted to have, let us say, tree map chart. So let me drag and drop tree map chart. So drag and drop like this. And in the tree map, I wanted to have, let me go to the next page because this page is almost clumsy. I want to go for the next page. So you can also duplicate, right click on this, duplicate this page. All the page data will come here. Okay. So that is also fine. I can duplicate the page. Now you can say page number 2, or you can say page number 3. So I don't need this. I don't need this. I wanted to maintain the same thing. Let me go and drag and drop this. So this is what is called tree map, right? So let me go and drag and drop subcategory wise sales. Subcategory wise sales, it will give you highest value in the topmost corner, left corner, and the next sales. And let me just go have the border and go and have the category label on. Okay, you will be able to get the values also. Okay, now you can do a lot of things over there. The first question you need to understand, okay, I'm able to use a lot of visualization, but when should I use what? And if I'm talking about any visualization, 3 things you need to understand. One is that, for example, I'm using this visualization. Okay. The first one, you have to know what is the purpose of this visualization. Okay. First thing you have to know, what is the purpose of this visualization? When should I use this? The second thing, what are the field wells it contains? What are the columns it contains? Okay. These are called field wells. Field wells. Okay. I have x-axis, I have y-axis, I have secondary y-axis. Lot of columns are available here. So this is what is called field wells. So what are the columns I need to drag and drop? And what is that I can drop here? What is that I can drop here? What is that I can drop here? You have to know clearly. So whenever you use, what is the purpose of this visualization? The next one, what are the columns and where should I drop? This is what is called field well. Field wells are available as part of this. Clear? So that is the next one you need to understand. So the third option is, what are the formatting option it has? Clear? How to format this visualization? Formatting, you have to click on this. You have to know the formatting options. Clear? When you drag and drop this visualization, you have to know what is the purpose of the visualization and what are the columns that is containing, and what is that I should drag and drop here. What is that I should drag and drop here? The field wells. The third one, the formatting options. Okay. So whenever you discuss about any visualizations, these are the 3 categories of functionality that you have to know clearly. The first functionality I'm talking about, so let us talk about today. Let us use a slicer visualization. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about visualizations. What is a visualization? Graphical representation of data. Graphical representation of data is called a visualization. I'm going to be taking AdventureWorks data. Now we have a lot of visualizations are available. Okay, all these visualizations are categorized. All these visualizations are categorized. There are a lot of categories in this, right? So what are the categories? Let us understand. So the first type of visualization is called basic data visualizations. Okay, whatever we discussed, right? Code visualization, blah, blah, blah. Visuals of filtering. So that means I wanted to filter the data. For example, whenever I go and drag and drop a filter. So this is a slicer. So this is also a filter. This is also a filter, and you can drag and drop something. And this is also a filter, right? This is also a filter. I can drag and drop something here. I can give the border. So as soon as you work with this, you have to know what is the purpose of this slicer. You know that you can filter the data. So that is one thing. Second thing, when you click on this, go, when you go click on this, you will be able to get the field. So this is what is called field wells. Field wells means columns. So only one thing you need to have. Only one thing you need to have. So all this data, what kind of a data you have? Because all the data where the reporting is done on the OLAP data, or we can say it is a data warehousing data. So reporting is done only maximum time in the OLAP data. OLAP means what? Online analytical, processing. It is a data warehousing data. OLAP data, data warehousing data means it is a large amount of data. It is a historical data. It is read-only data. That is what you need to understand. If somebody says, I am, preparing a lot of reports. So what kind of a data they will have? Maximum times they don't have OLTP data. They will have OLAP data. OLAP data means historical data, old data. It is not a, today's data or yesterday's sales. Yesterday's sales also historical data, right? So today's sales only fresh data. So anything can be historical once the transaction is completed. But we will be able to maintain OLAP data, data warehousing data means, remember, it is a completely large amount of data, historical data, read only the data. On this data only we do lot of data analytics. Nobody is going to be doing the data analytics on the fresh data, so you don't get anything. For example, I wanted to know how the sales a trend in India for Apple iPhones for last 5 years, so that you can understand something. But if I give you last 3 months of data, then if I show you a report, sir, this is the last 3 months data, I'm giving it to you, and how is the Apple iPhone trend in India? So by 3 months data, what is that you can visualize? What is that you can understand? Nothing. Okay. You and me know each other from childhood, right? So 20-30 years we lived together. Now you can tell me clearly about Bhaskar Jogi, and Bhaskar Jogi also can tell you, clearly about you. Why? Because we were child friends. But I met you last month in the training. And you and me were hostel mates for 1 or 2 months. Now I wanted to describe about yourself. Now maximum what is that I can say? So yeah, this guy is good, and the morning he gets up at 7 o'clock, he goes to gym, and after that, yeah, that's it. I don't know anything about you, only gym, and after that, he will interact. But when I go to your village and inquire, go to your home and inquire, you will be able to get a lot of other things, right? So when you have 3 months of data or 4 months of data or 1 year of data, if I'm with you for 1 year, what is that maximum I can understand? I cannot understand maximum things. What are the cases you have? What are the issues you had? I don't know anything about it, right? How your family grown up, how you grown up, and where did you study, how your behavior. Lot of things I do not know. I need to study lot of years of data to understand you. So similarly, data analytics cannot be done on 3 months data, 6 months data. Now you cannot say we are going to be taking last 1 year of data, and we are going to be performing analysis on the data. What is that? What kind of analysis you do on 1 year of data, and whether it is right or wrong? For example, I know this guy for last 1 month or 1 year. What is that maximum I can tell? Nothing, right? So only few things I can tell, and 100% it may not be correct. And that guy and whom I'm talking, he may be a terrorist, right? That I do not know. He came, escaped from the jail, and he was with me in my hostel. So how do I know? Morning gets up at 7 o'clock, he'll go to gym, and after that he'll go to the temple or church or masjid. He was praying. After that he'll come, and we will be coming with me the class. So I do not know anything about his past. So definitely data analytics means only on the large amount of data, that too historical data, not 6 months data, not 1 year data, 10 years of data, 20 years of data, 5 years of data. It will be on that data. When you have a data warehousing data, so you need to remember one thing, this data warehousing data or OLAP data will be, this is the data warehousing data, or you can say OLAP data. So in the OLAP or data warehousing, you have two types of data. One is called dimensional data. The second one is called fact data, right? OLAP data or the data warehousing data is a two types. One is called dimensional data, fact data. Dimensional data means textual data. Fact data means number data. That's it. Very simple. Okay. So dimensional data means what, Nana? Textual data. So customer name, customer address, customer hobbies, customer phone number. Customer phone number, even though it is a number, but on that number, I will not be able to perform lot of plus minus operation, arithmetical operations. Sometimes number data also will become a dimensional data. Sometimes a date data. Date data is also number data, month number, year number, quarter number. It is also number data, but still I cannot say quarter one and quarter two. I cannot say total is quarter three, or I cannot say quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. I cannot say seven and 9, 10. I cannot do like that. 3 and 3, 10. So I cannot give you, quarter number 1, 2, 3, 4. I cannot add this number, or 2005 and 2006 is there. I cannot add these two numbers, 5 and 6, 11. So, 40, 11, something like this. I cannot do that. Right. So even though it is a number data where I cannot perform arithmetical operations. So that kind of a data, even though that is a number data like a pin code. Okay, even that is a number data, it is a dimensional data. Textual data means I told you location, geography, customer name, product category, color, region. Any textual data is a dimensional data. Number data like pin code, room number, employee number, right? My room number is 25. What is that you can do? Your room number is 12. 12 and 25, can I add? Can I subtract? Can I do anything? No, you cannot analyze on the room numbers, right? So, lot of data analysis is going to be done on the fact data. Clear? Not on this. So, dimensional data, where you are going to be using this for the filters only. Okay. So, always, what is the purpose of a dimensional data? Either filter or you wanted to use as a group. So I wanted to know product wise sales. I wanted to know date wise sales, or I wanted to know sales in the year of 2005. So I am filtering the data or I'm grouping the data. So dimensional data will be used for the two purpose. One is called filter. The second one is called grouping. So filtering is called slicing of the data. People will say slice the data and dice the data. Dice means grouping. Clear? People will be saying data warehousing data must be sliced and diced. Clear? So which data are going to be taking and slicing and dicing? I wanted to know what is the sales happened in India for Apple iPhone. So there are two filters. One filter is called India, where country equals to India and the brand equals to Apple iPhone. Then what is the total sales? Here I'm going to be applying a sum operation. Clear? Sum of the sales, or I would like to find out average, or I would like to find out minimum. Okay, what is the maximum, or I would like to perform all these operations on the sales data. So data analytics is going to be done on the number data. Text columns, these got the dimensional data, where you're going to be using only two types of operations. Either you will be using this data for the filtering or the grouping. Slicing and dicing can be done on the dimensions data, and on the fact data, you're going to be performing some average, minimum, and maximum. Clear? So what is your dimensional data? Means textual data, sometimes number data, date time data, and you have any other data is called as a employee ID. Employee, your number and my number. Employee, your number and my employee number cannot be added, cannot be subtracted from each other. So I cannot do all these operations on the number data. Sometimes that kind of a data is called as a dimensional data only. Clear? But some kind of a number data, for example, sales, salary, discount, tax paid, discount amount, I got it. All this where you should be able to perform plus minus. That means aggregation operations. This kind of a data is called as a fact data. This kind of a data is called as a measure data. So you understand what is a fact and what is a measure clearly in the data warehousing videos. I told you to watch data warehousing videos, right? Not now, but later after the Power BI course, you watch, you buy SSIS, or you can attend the live classes. If you start the live classes, you can attend. And after the SSIS, you watch data warehousing videos. Now, in this, we have also given one project. You can understand clearly how a data warehouse can be created from scratch, and what is a data warehouse, and why we are using a dimension and a fact, blah blah blah. Clear? So what is the purpose of a dimension table? What is the purpose of a fact table? I, I told you. So customer is a dimension table, products is a dimensional table. Even though sales is a dimensional table, but some data like a due date, order date, and all these are again a dimensional data. So fact table also will have a dimensional data. Clear? And the number data like the discount amount, product standard cost, profit, freight amount, all this is purely measurable data or the fact data. Clear? So when you drag and drop any visualization, you have to know what is the purpose for this visualization. The purpose is I wanted to filter the data. Now, just now I told you filtering means, do you drag and drop fact data? Do you drag and drop dimensional data? So definitely this column where you are going to be dragging and dropping which data? Dimensional data. That is what you got to understand. Okay, in this column, what kind of a data? Can I drag and drop a freight amount here? The answer is no. Why? Because we are going to be using dimensions for the filtering, right? Filtering or the grouping. Filtering is called as a, in SQL understanding, where clause, right? Grouping means group by clause in SQL, right? It is also called as a slicing and dicing in the data warehousing terminology. Slicing means filtering the data, dicing means group by. Clear? So that is what you got to understand. Now, I wanted to use a where clause. I cannot use directly where clause here. I can use a slicer. So this is the purpose of this, visualization. What is the purpose? I wanted to dynamically filter the data. Now, this is also one filter. Okay, what is the difference between this filter and this filter is the interview question. So this is also where I should be able to drag and drop something. Filter means what kind of a data we can drag and drop. Maximum dimensional data also, but very, very few conditions we can also filter the fact data. But much more time we are going to be filtering the dimensional data. So what is the difference between this filter and this filter? So this filters where the developers are going to be applying the filters. Now here the developer once apply the filter and created a report, and the report is going to show you the reports and everything. After applying the filters and everything, customer cannot interact. Customer cannot interact with these filters. These are filters at the time of creating the reports and everything. Developers is going to be using. So customer cannot change any filters criteria here. Customers only see the data as it is. He cannot interact with the reports. Now, I wanted to, instead of using this, I use this filter. What is the advantage? The customer can change the value. So customer can filter something here. So this is what is called dynamic reports, because customer can interact with this filter. Customer cannot interact with filter. Who can interact with this filter? Developer. That is you and me. You and me at the time of creating a filter, I will apply some filter. I will create something. Then afterward, nothing. Clear? But after that also customer wanted to add something, something is available, means you can change dynamically. For example, you go to the hotel, you can add salt, you can add some spices, and because that is available at the customer table, but it is not available. It is available only to the chef. So no salt, no spices are available on the table of the customer. but it is available in the kitchen. So who can add salt? If you wanted to add the salt, only the always we have to go back to the chef. Hey chef, this is salt is, I think you need to add. Take the dish to the kitchen and he will be adding the salt again, and he will be giving after testing it. Now you will be saying, yes, it is now perfectly fine. So who's checking the making the changes? A developer or the creator, that is chef. But sometimes on your table there is a salt and lemon, and if you wanted to add a salt, you can also add the salt. That means what? You need not go to the creator. So when you go to the creator, that is chef, it will take a lot of time. Instead of that, some modifications at the food level you can also do. So what kind of a thing? That is what is called dynamic interactions with the food. You can add some salt, you can add some pepper, you can add some spices, and you can just mix it up and stir it up, and you can eat. So without going to the developer, that is a chef, you can also do a lot of customization in your table. So that is what is called dynamic. So user also can interact with his food. So he's making the changes of the food. He can add a lot of spices, lot of things, and everything is available on his table. If the spices are not available in the customer's table, so what we can do? Again, this food has to go to the kitchen. Like that, if these filters are not available here, this report has to go to the developer will modify the changes, and he will test it and release the report. So instead of going that, so customer can prepare a dynamic filters. He would like to choose, for example, I have a Chennai sales. Instead of Chennai, I wanted to have Hyderabad sales. What I should do? I have to simply click on this. Clear? The purpose of this filter is something different. I wanted to drag and drop some color, right? So the customer can interact. I would like to see the blue, gray, or multi, not so blah, blah, blah. I can interact, but instead of using this, I drag and drop a color. So I would like to drag and drop a color on this. I would like to take the blue and give this report. Now tomorrow, I wanted to change this. Now there is a color is blue, is got applied. Tomorrow I wanted to modify this. As a customer, I cannot modify. Again, I have to call the development team and change this to black. Means developer has to modify, right? Developer has to modify, not you. So this is a filtering, but static filtering, only developer can modify, not the customer. So customer also should be able to modify, means place this a filter here. So I told you what is the purpose of the slicer. That is what I was discussing, right? So the basic filtering, visualizing categorical data, visualizing a trend data, time series data. I told you about this. Trend data or a time series data, you have to use this. This is a trend data or a time series data. Clear? Now, I wanted to filter the data dynamically. You must use this. Like that, you have to know purpose for each and every visualization. Okay, na? So the next one is trend data or time series data. Visualizing a KPI data. KPI means key performance indicator. So what is the key performance indicator? We'll discuss. And visualizing a tabular data. Visualizing geography data, that is a map data. Leveraging PBI custom visuals. All these categories of visualizations are available here. So we'll talk about one by one in the next classes. Yeah, am I clear? So let me just go and try to see what is the purpose for this. So this is what is called a slicer. Dynamically, you should be able to filter the data. Dynamically, you means I'm talking about the customer. Customer can filter the data. So what is the purpose? I have told you. The purpose is to filter the reported data dynamically. We are going to be using a slicer. So that is the filter. That is the purpose we have to know. The purpose of the slicer to filter the data. What data I'm going to be filtering? Dimensional data dynamically. Dynamically means what? A customer is going to be filtering or developer is going to be filtering. So definitely a customer. So developer is creating means developer means a chef is preparing. Chef is prepared already the food and packed and given to you. And after that, you're going to be modifying the food, adding some salt and everything. So that is what is called dynamically means a customer doing a lot of modification to the existing food or existing visualizations. Clear? Field values means what are the columns? So only one column it has. You need to drag and drop dimension data. The last one, what are the formatting options that this has? When you go with this, we have a visual, we have a slicer settings, we have a slicer header, we have a values, we have a general, and each and everything you have to discuss. What is this properties, the title, effects, header icons, alternative text. and you need to know about this, you have to know about this, you have to know about this. All this is called formatting options of slicer, right? So when you go to visual, so in this you have to, if you go and what are the key field wells you can have. Field wells means columns. So only one dimension you can drag and drop. What is the purpose? I have clearly explained. Right. Now I go and I want to tell you, slicer can take a dimensional data. Dimension means, dimension means you can drag and drop a text, you can drag and drop a number, you can drag and drop a date. All this is what is called dimensional data. Remember. If you drag and drop a text and the slicer will behave differently. If you drag and drop a number, it is going to be behaving differently. If you drag and drop a date on the slicer, it is going to be behaving differently. What is the purpose of a slicer? To filter the data dynamically, especially we're talking about dimensional data. Now, I wanted to drag and drop a textual data. When I drag and drop a textual data, it is going to show you like this. This is what is called a list. Clear? When you go, it is going to be giving you something here. So these things now recently it has got changed. The settings has moved. They change the slicer style, blah blah blah. So when I go this, click on this formatting, this slicer settings. The style is vertical. Okay. So this is the default behavior, vertical list. This is the list behavior, okay? Because when I'm dragging and dropping, I'm going to see the list one by one. So what I do, when you click on this, when you go here, and you will be able to go to slicer settings. What is the style now? Vertical. But now I wanted to remove this. I wanted to drag and drop a slicer. Now this time I wanted to take the number data. So number data means department ID, some number or the product number. Product. Okay, so I wanted to drag and drop one number. Where is the number? I will take one number like product ID, some product key. I wanted to drag and drop something. So when I drag and drop something, it is showing something different, the behavior. So when you go back here, now when I take this slicer settings, it is showing me the default behavior is between. Earlier, we were having vertical list. Vertical list means you will be able to see the numbers like this. Okay. So when you drag and drop textual data, list will be shown. When you drag and drop textual data, I was dragging and dropping a color. It is showing the list. This is when you have a small amount of data, list will be good. But when you have a number data, it is showing between operator. Between operator means now it is showing like this. It is showing you like this. So from which one to which one? I need to get the data between, let us say, 300 product to, let us say, 600 product. Okay, so I'm able to give this data. So when you have the number data, it is going to be showing, between operator. So that is the default behavior. Clear? Now I remove this. Now I drag and drop a slicer. In that, I would like to drag and drop a date and time data. So I wanted to have order date data. I wanted to drag and drop. If I take order date data, what is it? It is going to be giving me? It is giving me go. It is also giving me between operator. Okay, it is going to show you between. So instead of showing the list can be shown. If the slicer has a textual data, list is going to be shown. If you drag and drop a number data between, it is going to be shown. When you drag and drop a date data, it is going to be showing between means it is from this to this. I wanted to have start date and end date. Between these two dates, what is the sales I wanted to have? Clear? So it is not going to be showing a list of values. For example, if it is showing a list of values, does it make any sense? You'll go mad. So for example, if it is giving you vertical list means all the data it is going to be showing like this. I wanted to have sales between 2 days or sales greater than this, sales lesser than this. So this kind of a things you cannot have it in the list. So it is going to be between. Okay, between means you can say I can also just like this, between this date to this date you can manage, or you can just simply go here, start date is this, end date is this. Because 2005 to 2007 data I have, I'm going to be arranging this range. I can change the range. So this is what this style between or before some date. So this will be disabled. Before means this will be disabled. After means this will be disabled. After this date, what is my sales? Or I can also have the drop down list. Drop down list means it will be like this. It is a drop down. Normal list means it will be like this. Clear? You have a drop down. So drop down means you can have, right? Like this. And you can have relative date. Relative date means last 1 year, what is the sales? Last 1 year, what is the sales? Or next 1 year, what is the sales? Or next last 1 month, what was the sales? I wanted to have like this. You can create this kind of a filterings, relative date or relative time. If you have time data, no time we don't have it, we will be able to have next 1 hour, last 1 hour, like that. Time means minutes and hours and everything, or relative date means these are the things. So depends upon the value, depends upon what kind of a dimensional data, these filters are automatically applied. Okay, textual data means by default list. For example, I wanted to drag and drop a region, right? So I would like to have the region here. So region, how many columns I have? I have only 4 or 5 columns, right? I wanted to have the textual data. Textual data means it is going to be a list by default, right? But you have a tile also. Tile means you can show the data like this. This is what is called tile. This is also filter, but this is what is called tile. If you wanted to show the slicer like this, you can have the tile. So in the settings, in the tile. But I would like to have the drop down. So when can I go in for a drop down? When can I go in for a list means, vertical list means when you have a small amount of data, when you have a small amount of data, list will be good. For example, I wanted to go and remove this. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, right? But instead of this, I wanted to take the product name, right? This is dimensional data. How many products you have? You have around 300 products, very bigger list. When you have a bigger list, never take a list like this. What you do? You have to go in for the drop down. When you have a small amount of data, what you do? You have to use the default list. Clear? When you have a large amount of data, you better go click here and choose the drop down. So you can just simply go, you can have whatever you wanted to have. You can have whatever you wanted to have. If you need multi-selection means use control. Use control, you can have the multi-selection also. Clear? So this is what is called drop down. But sometimes I will be having, I will be irritating. This is what is called erase. So everything will get erased. But sometimes verifying a product is a difficult job, right? So what you do, you have one more option called when you go, when you click on this dot, when you click on this dot, you can have a search. Okay, click on the search. When you click on the search there, when you go here, you will be able to get the search. I would like to go about the tires. When I click on the tire, it will show you, HL road tire and mountain tire, this tire. So you can have like this. Clear? So if you wanted to enable the search, that can be allowed in your Dropbox. So where to enable that? Go to dot, you need to, the search is enabled. If you remove this, if you remove and try to go and you don't have any search option at all. Have you seen this? Now, when you have a large amount of data, you have to go and click on settings and use a drop down. Clear? So you cannot have the list like this. It will be irritating for the people. Go for the drop down and go to dot, enable the search. When you enable the search, when you click on this, you will be able to get the search. And I wanted to have the bracket. Okay. So I would like to buy a bracket. So I would like to buy these 3 products. So bottom bracket, this bracket, I would like to know the sales of this. Nothing is there. So like that, you should be able to have, search options has to be enabled. So search can be enabled only for the drop down. Remember this. Search can be enabled only for the drop down. Tile means when you have a large amount of data, these many tiles you will get, you will go mad. People also will not be, happy about this. When you have a small amount of data, you can go in for a tile, right? When you have a small amount of data, you can go in for a list. List is the default behavior, here, but I wanted to go in for a drop down. When you have a large amount of data, plus on top of that, you go click on the search. When you go here, you will be able to get the search box there. Am I clear? So this is what is the behavior of the slicer. Clear? So text, number and date. And tomorrow I'll talk about formatting options. So tomorrow I'll talk about region-wise sales. I wanted to have it. So I can have what region, what kind of a sales you wanted to have it. If you wanted to remove this, you can have this. Now region-wise sales, I can have it. So by default, when you have a small amount of data, go here and choose the vertical list, right? So you can have the region-wise sales. So that is what I can have very simply, a filtering dimensional data. Now, category, subcategory, color-wise, sales-wise data. So I talk about this. Then tomorrow we will talk about this in this one and the difference between we'll talk about different dimensions and everything. Okay. Slicer visualization. The purpose is to filter the dimensional data in the report page by end users. It is dynamically end user can interact with the report. Field wells, way to place dimension and facts. But here we're going to be, dragging and dropping only dimensional data, but not the fact data. Formatting options we'll discuss. Okay. So tomorrow we'll talk about formatting options. And field wells, it is containing only one. In that we can have dimensions and textual data. If you drag and drop, what happens? Number data, what happens? Date and time data, what happens? I discussed already, and we will continue in tomorrow. We'll complete the formatting options and some more for this visualization. We'll discuss in tomorrow's class. Okay, so between operator also I told you, right? Between textual data means a list, right? So list can be small amount of data by default, drop down large amount of data, search, enable the search when we have large data, it is after applying the drop down. Then date column, we have a between, before, after, list, drop down, relative dates, all these things we discussed. And the number data, so slicer, default between, drag and drop this, right? So tomorrow we'll talk about few more things and we'll continue further. Okay. So a lot of other, headers and everything we have that we'll discuss in tomorrow's class. Any other questions?